Okay. All right. Everybody just letting things get started here. Oops. Actually, let me, before people get on, check volume. Make sure there's no echoes like before. I think I've solved all those issues. Yes. Okay. Okay, so a lot of what I'm trying to figure out still is how I can be the most helpful to people by streaming videos, by making content, by having yoga classes, all this sort of stuff. I think it's pretty obvious at this point that everybody's just trying to figure it out, and tons of yoga out there and everything else, and I want to make sure that whatever it is I am doing is the most helpful and useful for everyone. And one thing that I'm starting to recognize perhaps is that we're all home right now. A lot of people, especially students of mine that would normally be coming to full-length yoga classes at a studio, are home now with their families. It's hard for people to carve out a good hour and a half plus to be doing yoga right now. It's a little bit easier in short incremental bits here and there throughout the day. And so my idea is to try to live stream some more shorter practices, which is what we're going to do today, and see how that goes for you guys. And if there's enough people that are like, no, we want full-length classes, then I'm completely fine doing that as well. But I figured we can have some shorter practices, really streamline and target things a little bit more specifically, whether it's targeting something physically in the practice or something a little bit more specific to more esoteric practices or whatever it may be. So I'm really open to any and all feedback about this for if you have any thoughts on the matter, but I think from what I'm seeing anyway so far that shorter practices seem to be a little bit more helpful and useful for people at this point. And that way we can still kind of have some completion to it rather than just like watching a half hour of a full-length class, stopping it, dealing with life, and then coming back trying to finish it or something like that. So that's how we're going to roll with things. Today we're even going to skip all the extra mantra and things like that, although I'm more than happy to include those in the practices as well. I'm just trying to figure out what's going to be best for everybody, what's the best use of time and everything else. For anyone that's online right now, if you have any comments on it, I'm happy to see before we get started. But what I want to mention for our practice today is there's a few things that would be really helpful. And I'll give some alternatives as well. You'll notice I have a blanket here, I have 2 blocks, and I have a strap. I also have a smooth floor. So if you're practicing on a carpet, there is one of the techniques today that won't really work, but I'll give you some options for that too. So, okay, and give everybody a couple minutes to grab those things if need be. Blocks, I've got lots of yoga blocks in my house. I'm a yoga teacher, not everybody has yoga blocks, but you can use anything. Books are great for certain things, although like the total book nerd in me is like, oh man, just don't sit on the books, it's so disrespectful. But I mean, do what you got to do. And we won't be necessarily sitting on the books or the blocks today. We'll be using them just for extra length and support for the hands and arms, if that's the case. Yoga straps are nice and great, but you don't need them. You can use a belt of any kind. You could use a towel, like a bathroom towel, any of these sorts of things. So a belt is not necessary. And I think we all have blankets around the house. But if you're in a really cold place and like blankets are pretty prime currency that you don't want to be putting on the floor or anything else, then you can use a t-shirt for this. You can use a sweater. You can use, go into your hamper and grab one of your old pieces of clothes that's ready to be washed, and you'll be able to use that in the same way that we're using this blanket today. Now, I have the fake wood floors here, so they're relatively smooth. Things can slide on them. If you're practicing on a carpet, there are a few things that you can use instead, so we can still get that slide. Things that I've used before are paper plates. For any of my students in San Diego that are watching these videos, they know that when I used to teach classes at Yoga 6, where they have the tatami mats, I had a few classes where we got the compostable paper plates that we could use to put our feet on to slide on the tatami mats, which otherwise are a little bit more grippy and not so smooth. So you can use things like that and get creative. But you'll want those things today if you have them for the practice. If you don't worry, there's still things that we can use, and you won't, the only thing that you would really need, perhaps like, again, strap, you don't need, you can grab your foot. Blocks don't necessarily need to support either. These are just nice to have. Having a blanket and or something if you're on a carpet like a paper plate or something that's easy to be slid back and forth like that, that's important, but you can always use that moment for some bridges and some relaxation. So I will give some options if you don't have that stuff, that you can still be doing something while we're doing that particular pose. That being said, we're going to get started. So hopefully you've got all of those things. If not, you can always come back later and get what you need to get. But let's start. We're actually going to start laying on our backs today. So if you've got all the necessary things, go ahead, lay on your back. I'm going to get a quick sip of water. When you lay on your back, bend your knees, bring your feet flat to the floor, and take your feet wider or as wide as shoulder width distance apart, and let your knees fall and rest together. You can have your arms by your sides. You can rest your hands on your torso if you like. Settle your eyes closed. Allow a moment to arrive onto your mat or rug or wherever you're practicing. And we're not here to try to stop ourselves from thinking about life and what's going on or this thing or that thing, but instead just learning how to redirect our attention away from the chattiness of thoughts into the experience that's arising in this moment. So thoughts are eventually included in that, but if they're a distraction right now, then it's best to shift the attention away and come into the sensations of the body. So start to notice all the various sensations of your body, your breath. Start to encourage some deeper, fuller breaths. If at any time during our practice you notice you're getting a little carried away with your thoughts, again, we're not here to stop the thoughts, just come back as quickly as you can, as gently as you can to the experience of your breath that will bring you back into the sensations of the body. and the experience of moment-to-moment awareness. A few more rounds of breath. Keep your breath steady and rhythmic. I'm going to reach out towards your legs and hug your knees into your chest. Make a few circles, rock a little side to side. I remember when I was younger doing yoga and a teacher would say, massage your low back into the floor by moving your legs. I'm like, what are you even talking about? I'm not feeling any massage in my low back. And the older I've gotten, I'm like, oh yeah, this is the primo massage right here for the low back. So yeah, massage your low back in the floor. If it's not there, don't worry, just keep moving the legs around. Send your knees wide, turn the soles of your feet up towards the ceiling, and then reach for your feet. You can go insides, outsides. Ultimately, if you can't reach the feet, just grab the backs of your legs, and then gently hug your thighs down along either side of your torso, happy baby pose. If you have tight hamstrings, you're going to notice the low back and the hips picking off the floor. See if you can keep the sacrum and hips a little more rooted onto your mat, so you're not putting that pressure onto your low back. Draw your legs back together. You've got a couple options. Option 1, roll over onto your side and press up to your seat. Option 2, if you're feeling a little more adventurous, as you're watching this video, you can rock yourself forward and back, build up enough momentum, rock up to your seat, and then bring your legs underneath you. Come onto all fours. Hands under your shoulders, spread your fingers wide, knees under your hips. Tops of the feet can be flat or curl the toes under. Inhale, send your inner thighs back, sit bones up so the pelvis is what's moving first. And let the spine follow. And pull your heart forward, gaze up. Exhale, pressing your arms around your spine, go the other way. Tailbone down. Inhale, inner thighs back, heart forward. Shoulder blades on the back, look up. And exhale, press the floor away around your spine. Keep this going a few times at your own pace. Start to vary up your movement so you can move a little side to side. Make some figure 8s, or just move spontaneously, organically. Eventually walk your hands forward a few inches so they're in front of the shoulders. Curl your toes under your feet and exhale, press the floor away. Send your hips up and back, downward dog. Take a moment, pedal out your feet. Shake your head loose. Shimmy your hips to side. A few breaths here in downward dog. Inhale, shift your weight forward to come to high plank. Then bring your knees to the floor, lean forward and lower all the way down to the floor. Bring your arms alongside of you, palms flat to the floor to start. Hug your navel towards your spine, press your feet into your mat, and inhale, lift your chest up. Sustain your breath, hug your shoulder blades onto your back. Nice deep breaths here. Exhale, lower down. Keep your arms long by your sides, navel in towards the spine to protect your low back. Inhale, pick your right leg up and away from the mat. Step on the gas pedal with your right foot so you're pushing through the balls of your feet. Your calf is active, hamstring is active. Notice if you're trying to pick your right hip off the floor though, keep your hips still glued to your mat. Lift a little more from the inside of your right leg. Exhale to lower the right leg down. Inhale, pick your left leg up. Exhale, lower the left leg down, working with the breath. Gaze is still forward or down to the floor. Inhale, pick up your right leg. Exhale, lower it down. Inhale, pick up the left leg. Exhale, lower it down. A few times at the pace of your breath. Inhale, pick up the right leg. Exhale, lower. Inhale, left. Exhale, lower. One more time on each side. Inhale, right side up. Exhale it down. Inhale the left up. Exhale the left down. Check you're still gently engaging the abdominal muscles. Navel towards the spine. Inhale, lift your chest up. Pick your hands up. If it's okay for your low back, pick both of your legs up. Keep breathing. Exhale, lower down. Bend your arms to bring your palms flat by your side so that your wrists are roughly underneath your elbows rather than up by your shoulders. Inhale, without using the strength of your arms, pick your chest back up. And then light pressure from the arms. Pull back through the heels of the hands. Come up a little higher for Cobra. A few breaths here in Cobra. Bhujangasana. Exhale, lower. Press the floor away and send your hips all the way back to your heels. Child's pose. Inhale, lift up to all fours. Now when I mentioned earlier that we're only going to need the blocks perhaps for support, I forgot we actually need them for one more thing. But you don't need a block. You can grab anything. Doesn't even need to be a book. Just grab something that is sizable and a little bit weighty and place it by the side of your mat or wherever you're practicing for right now. Come on to all fours. Now the weight of the viscera and the organs tends to drop the belly down and collapses the pelvis, spills forward. We fall into the low back a little bit. So find your abdominal muscles, hug the navel in a bit more, stabilize your low back, and walk your knees a little closer together underneath you. Inhale, send your right leg straight up and back behind you. Pause here. Notice again that tendency, especially if you notice it on the floor, to pick your right hip up. See if you can maintain the right hip to be level with the left, and you're lifting a little bit more from the hamstring, a little less from your glute. The glute will get you to pick the hip open. Exhale, bend your right knee, hug it into your chest, pause here, keep breathing. Round your spine, draw your forehead towards your knee. Exhale, lower your right knee down next to your left. Inhale, pick your left leg up and back. And getting a sense of how high starts to dump you into your low back. Keep the belly firm to support your low back. Again, if you notice you're picking the hip up, see if you can level off the hips as best you can. Exhale, bend your left knee, hug it in your chest. A few breaths here. Round, press the floor away. Great job. Exhale to lower your left knee down next to the right. Find your object. Now this object can be a block. As long as if the lid's on tight, it could be something like a water bottle, a book, something that's just a little weighty, and you're going to stick it behind your right knee. Okay. Now once it's behind your right knee, you're actually going to hug the object by bending your knee or flexing your knee even more. Inhale, send your right leg straight up and back. You'll notice I have my block with me. If you are using a block, make sure that the contents aren't more towards the inside because you're likely to bonk it into your other leg. Exhale, bend your right hip as you hug your knee in towards your chest, forehead towards your knee. Inhale, send your right leg up and back. Knee is still bent. We're still holding on to the object. Exhale, hug it in. Inhale it up and back. Exhale, hug it in. Inhale it back. Exhale it in. Inhale it back. Exhale it in. One more, inhale. Exhale. Great job. Release the block. Lower your right knee down. We'll switch to the other side. Gonna put the block or the object behind my left knee. Start to flex the knee more to hold the object. Starting with both the knees close together underneath, it's going to help you to be more stable. Inhale, send the left leg straight up and back, and you've got the object with you. Exhale, bring your knee forward, around your back, draw your forehead towards your knee. Inhale it up and back. Gaze forward. Exhale, hug it in. Inhale it back. Exhale it in. Inhale it back. Exhale it in. One more inhale. Exhale, hug it in. Lower the left knee down. Set your object aside. Send your hips back to your heels, child's pose. Check in with your breath. Inhale, lift back up to all fours. Walk your hands in front of the shoulders, curl your toes. Next exhale, press the floor way downward dog. Inhale, pick your right leg up and back behind you. Exhale, step your right foot to the top of your mat. Gently lower your left knee to the floor. Remember, you can always use your blocks or the support that you have to add some length to your arms here if you like. Inhale, pull your chest forward. Exhale, send your hips back into a fold, lengthen your right leg. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, send it back. Inhale it forward. Nice broad chest. Exhale, back into your fold. Time. And then continue this a few times back and forth at your own pace. Feel free to start to change up some of the angles of your leg. Find a little more spontaneous movement. Inhale towards the front of your mat so your right knee lands on top of your ankle. Left knee can stay on the floor for support, or send the leg away from the floor with the toes still down to build a little more heat. Left hand underneath your left shoulder, press down, inhale, twist to your right. Exhale, bring your right hand down, lower your left knee down, hugging from the legs. Inhale, heart up, arms up, low lunge. Anjaneyasana. Good job. Exhale, hands to the floor. Inhale, step your right foot back, and exhale, press your hips back, downward dog. Inhale, pick your left leg up and back. Exhale, step your left foot forward, lower your right knee down. Inhale, pull your chest forward. Exhale, send your hips back into your fold. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. Inhale. Exhale. And then again, moving a little bit more at your own pace. It doesn't need to be one breath, one movement. Change some of the angles of your leg, a little rotation. Inhale to shift forward so the left knee's on top of your ankle. Send your right knee away from the floor or leave it down for support. A little hug from the legs, the length to the spine. Press into your right hand. Inhale, twist to your left. Exhale, bring the left hand down. Lower your right knee down. Hugging from the legs. Inhale or reach up. Low lunge. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, step the left foot back. Exhale, press your hips back, downward dog. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, walk or step your feet up to the top of your mat. Blocks are always here to add a little length to the arms if you like. Inhale, draw your chest parallel to the floor. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Nice strong back and legs. You can always have a bend in your knees though to support your low back. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Once you're standing, set your hands by your sides. Shake out the legs. Settle your eyes closed, find a moment of breath. Standing at the top of your mat, bring your hands to your hips. Check that your feet are about hip width distance apart. Might be a little wider or closer together, but we don't want them all the way together for now. Inhale, get long from your heels out the crown of your head, and exhale, send your hips back and bend your knees, Utkatasana. Find a neutral pelvis to your spine-ish. And then inhale, bring your arms out in front of you or up by your ears. If all of a sudden you dump into your low back, and see if you can organize the pelvis and your spine a little more comfortably. And keep the arms up or bring them back to your hips. Shift weight into your right foot. And inhale, pick up the left leg, send it back behind you, high lunge. The hands are the hips, and once the leg is back, inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bring your hands to the floor, or here's the option where we can really use the blocks to add some extra length to the arms and support for the body. Shift your weight into your right foot. Inhale, pick up your left leg, standing splits. Inhale, draw your chest parallel to the floor, and exhale, fold. Keep the left leg lifted. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. One more, inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bend both knees. Draw your left knee behind your right leg. Curl into a little ball. Inhale, pick up the left leg. Lift your heart. Exhale, bend both knees. Curl in. Inhale, lift. Exhale, curl in. Two more, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lift up the back leg. Lift your chest.
Exhale, lower your left foot to the top of your mat. Pedal out your feet, grab your arms, sway a little side to side. The hands can come to your hips or stay overhead. Inhale, hinge from your hips. Lift up to standing. Exhale, your hands by your sides or to your heart. Settle your eyes closed. All right, check the feet are wide-ish again, in the range of about hip width distance apart. Hands to your hips. Inhale, get long from heel to crown. Exhale, hips back, bend your knees. Utkatasana. Find the stability of your legs, your pelvis, your spine, your breath. When you feel ready, inhale your arms out in front of you or up by your ears. Bring weight into your left foot. Inhale, pick up your right leg, send it long back behind you. Reach up, high lunge. Exhale, bring your hands to the floor or to your blocks. Shift weight forward into the left foot. Inhale, pick up your right leg. Hands are roughly underneath your shoulders. Lift up through the right leg without cranking your hips open. So feel the lift coming from the inside of your right leg. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, bend both knees, right knee towards the back of the left leg, around your back, curl in. Inhale, lift the chest, lift your right leg, lengthen both legs. Exhale, bend your knees, hug it in. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bend. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bend. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bend. Inhale, lift. Keep the right leg long. Exhale, lower your right foot to the top of your mat. Forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Press your heels away from the floor. And exhale, bend your knees. I'm going to come to the top of your mat. Take the top of your mat. And perhaps fold it back. About halfway back. If you're not using a mat, you're using a rug. If you're using a rug, you're going to want your paper plate or something like that to help slide on the rug. But it's also, if you don't have it, don't worry, we'll still give you something to do. If you do have a solid, slippery floor, as you roll the mat back, keep your blanket handy and place it at the end of where you folded your mat. So it's on the side that's the slippery side of the floor. Bring your legs out in front of you and your feet onto the blanket, your hips towards where you folded the mat. Right, where the end of that fold is. If you don't have a blanket, perhaps you're just coming down onto the floor or down onto your rug, whatever it may be, you can still find some work here. Slowly lower onto your backs. Feet about hip width distance apart. Walk your shoulder blades underneath you. Now, if you have a sensitive low back, one of the ways you can get a little bit more stable here is actually finding your block and placing it between your thighs, giving a little squeeze. That's going to provide more support and stability. With your shoulder blades underneath you, arms by your sides, bend your arms at the elbows so your fingers point out. Palms face one another. Push into the backs of your arms. Push into your feet, inhale, lift your hips up. Exhale, slowly lower your hips down. Inhale, press down, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Temptation is to use all of your legs here. Keep really using your arms as well. Inhale, lift. Really pushing down through the elbows and upper arms. Exhale, lower. One more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Once the hips are down, hug your knees near your chest. Find your breath. Release your feet back to the floor out in front of you, to your blanket if you're using the blanket. Shoulder blades underneath you, arms by your sides, bend at the elbows. Push into your elbows, inhale, push into your feet, lift your hips up. I want to make sure that we're not falling into the low back. So, you're going to engage the abdominal muscles and your glutes underneath. Squeeze your glutes like you're Jane Fonda and it's the 80s. Lift your hips towards the sky. But careful that the knees aren't flailing out all of a sudden so you still have some action from your inner thighs. Really important, push through the arms so your arms and back are active. Keep your hips as high as you can. Inhale. If you're working with the blanket, slide your feet forward a few inches. If you don't have a blanket to use, stay in your bridge. Exhale, bring the heels back in towards the end of where your mat is, where you began. Inhale, without dumping the hips, slide your feet out a little further than last time. Exhale, bring them back in. Now this is going to be hard enough as is if you're not engaging through your arms, so stay really active, pushing into the elbows and arms. It's going to help keep the body up as you move forward and back. We're going to do that a few more times. Inhale, slide the feet forward. Maybe at this point you go so far forward the fronts of the feet come off and you're just on your heels. Exhale, whoop, bring it back in. Two more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Oh, lower it down. Knees into your chest. Find your breath. All right. Release your feet back to the floor or to your blanket. So if you're using something like the paper plates, feet are on the paper plates, being able to slide on the rug. If you're on a rug, similar to the like furniture movers, those things work. If you're on the blanket on the floor, we're here again. We're going to offer a couple options. Option one, if you're like, woof, I'm good. Take your feet wider than shoulder width distance apart, around there, and let the knees fall together. Find some rest. Option two, go back to your regular bridges, lifting up and lowering down, or even sustain your bridge. Option three, lifting up to where we were, slide your feet out, bring them back in. If you're looking for even more work for the hamstrings, I'll cue us through doing this on one side. Push in your elbows, your feet, inhale, lift your hips up. Find your stability, make sure you're really active with your arms. Send your right leg towards the sky. Inhale, keep pushing the arms, slide your left foot forward. Ooh, it's not going all the way out. Exhale, bring it back in. I think we're only going to get 3 of those out of me today. Inhale, slide it forward. Exhale, bring it back in. One more, inhale. Ooh, it's not going too far. Exhale, left hamstring, not so stoked on that. Lower the right foot down. Okay. If you're with me on the single sides, we'll switch to the other side. Lift the hips up, left leg up. Inhale, slide the right leg forward as far as it will go reasonably. And exhale, might take a few little slides to get it back. 2 more, inhale. I'm not going to go too far. Exhale, it's tough. 1 more, inhale. Exhale, bring it. It might take a few little bits to get back. Heel down, hips down. Knees in your chest. Oh. Hamstrings are chronically overstretched in yoga and chronically understrengthened. Considering that sitting, as we do in Western modern culture, really tends to weaken the hamstrings, whew, you really get a sense of what's going on with your hamstrings with those shapes. Great hamstring strengtheners, just like the other postures we're doing today. All right, option, cross your ankles, roll up to your seat, or again, you can always just roll over to your side, press yourself up. Swing your legs out from underneath you. Slide your blanket aside if you were using one. Unfold your mat. We're staying on the floor though. Find strap, belt, towel, sturdy sweater, any of these sorts of things, and go ahead and come on to your back, bringing your strap with you. This doesn't say what it is. Doesn't show in here, okay. Once you're down, hug your knees and your chest. Actually, maybe I can check time this way. There we go, okay. Bend both knees, bring your feet flat to the floor. Send your right leg up. Bring your strap around the balls of your right foot, so just beneath the toes, but not all the way in the middle of the foot. Getting a little higher, when you pull on your strap or whatever it is you're using, you get a little bit more through the Achilles and the back of the calf. Once your right leg is straight as it will reasonably go, lengthen your left leg towards the floor. It doesn't have to be straight, but just lengthen it out, start to push the heel down. Nice deep breaths. Push your right heel towards the sky. Draw the top of your right foot back towards your body and face. Bring your left hand to the top of your left thigh to help keep the left side of your body rooted into the floor. You really want to move here from your right hip socket. The temptation is, based on the limitations of the shape of the hip or the tension in your inner right thigh, is that once you move your leg out to the side, as you rotate the trunk or hips to get there, see if you can keep your torso, your low back, your hips all neutral. And inhale, only open your right leg as wide to the right as you can without jeopardizing the left side of your body or the integrity of your spine. Nice deep breaths here. Also have the option to grab your blanket or any other support and place it to be outside of your right leg for more support if you want it. Inhale, bring your right leg all the way back up. Switch hands on the strap or whatever your support is, or if you're just grabbing up for the foot, if you can reach it without like freaking out and lifting your head off the floor, then you can always just grab for the hand or the foot. Bring your right arm out to the side, to the right. Exhale, draw your right leg across your body towards the left. It's fine if your right hip comes up, but see if you can keep your shoulder blade rooted into the floor underneath you. Gaze can be up towards your left foot, or if it's okay for your neck, gaze towards your right hand. Inhale, slowly bring the right leg all the way back up. Pause here a moment. And when you're ready, exhale, lower your right leg down next to the left, release your strap. Hands by your sides or resting on your body. Find a few breaths. Bend your knees. Bring your feet flat to the floor. Find your strap, or whatever you're using. Send your left leg up. Use your prop underneath the toes or the balls of the feet, just beneath the toes. Once the left leg is as straight as it will go, as high as it will go, lengthen your right leg down. Nice deep breaths. And less of a muscling between your leg and your arm, and just find where the appropriate range is through the effort of your arm to communicate more effectively with your left hamstring. Effective communication isn't yelling and shouting. Cranking your arm is the equivalent of yelling or shouting. So find that dialogue between breath, the pull of your arm, and the resistance from your leg. Take your strap in your left hand. If it's not already, bring your right hand to your right hip to help root it down. And we're moving from the hip socket rather than rotating the pelvis or the spine. Inhale, send your left leg wide to the left. Another way you can help root the right side down, really actively push your right heel forward and down into the floor. But if that's too much, you can always have a little bend in your right knee. Nice deep breaths. Root into the right side. Inhale, pick your left leg straight up. Switch hands with your strap. Left arm out to the side. Again, left shoulder is going to stay on the floor, but it's fine if the left hip lifts up. Exhale to draw your left leg across your body to the right. If you notice pinching on the insides of your hip, try to scoot your right hip underneath you a little bit more. It might give you a little more room. And gaze can be up, to the right, or if it's okay for your neck, gaze towards the left. Eyes opened or closed. Nice deep breaths. Push into the left arm for stability. Inhale. Bring your left leg all the way back up. Exhale, lower your left leg down. Release your strap. Hands by your sides or resting on the body. Nice deep breaths. Bend your knees, hug them into your chest. Feel free to move around, open up the legs again if you want to grab the feet for a little happy baby. Pressing out the legs, rock around, or you can find that nice massage for the low back with the legs. Keep the soles of the feet together. Knees bent. Lower your feet to the floor with your knees wide. Option to place your hands on the tops of your thighs, a little tone to your belly. And gently push through the arms like you're trying to physically move your legs and your pelvis further away from your trunk. Just light and gentle. Release the pressure of the arms if you took that option. 3 full breaths of easing the sensations of the inner thighs. Bring your hands to your outer legs, draw the knees back in, and hug your knees in your chest. Your thighs still close to your chest, send your arms wide. And exhale, lower your knees over towards the left. Again, if it's okay for your neck, turn your head to the right. If you want to use your left hand to weigh down the legs, you can, or take another option with the legs, feel free. Inhale, come back through center. Thighs close to the chest as they cross through the trunk, and exhale, bring your legs over to the right. Nice deep breaths. Shoulder blades rooted into the floor. Inhale to slowly bring your knees back through center. Give yourself another little hug and squeeze. And then release your limbs all the way down to the floor. Arms by your sides. Lengthen your tailbone underneath you. Walk your shoulder blades underneath you. Settle into a comfortable shape. Lay long enough practice for us to take a gentle shavasana. Once you found a comfortable place for your body, find the deepest breaths of your day so far. Start to send your exhales out your mouth. Next inhale, fill up, brief pause at the top, hold your breath. Exhale out your mouth with a sigh, go as empty as you can. Brief hold of the breath at the bottom. If you notice any internal effort, like you're squeezing a muscle or holding any tension, give yourself permission to let it go as you're holding your breath out until you feel ready to let go of even the effort of having to do anything with your breath. Hold it out or guide it. Let go of holding it out. The breath will effortlessly pour back in. And then no more effort, no more doing. All
all doing dissolve away. Let the doer dissolve away. Just simply be as you are without effort. Doesn't mean things stop, your heart still beats, lungs still breathe, mind still thinks. Doesn't need any effort or control on the part of your mind. If the mind wants to wander off, let it. Your breath be natural and free. Shavasana. Without disturbing your body. Invite your attention back into the space that you're in, back into your body, into your breath. Start to gently encourage some deeper breaths. Wake up the body with some gentle movement. Wiggle your fingers, your toes, your hands and your feet. Arms and legs, your jaw, your neck and head. Make your way, when you're ready, over to your side. And gently up to a comfortable seated position. So you find your seat, sit up nice and tall. Check in. Notice how you feel. Bring your hands to touch in front of the chest and heart. Bow your head below your heart. Gratitude for the practice, for the space in life to be able to take time in your day, whether you're with us live right now or watching this recording later, where you could carve out some time for some deliberate practice. Thank your hamstrings for all the abuse that we put them through, and for tolerating all the abuse we put them through.
Anything else you're grateful for? I'm grateful for the means and the ability to have these videos and share practice with you. I'm grateful that people are willing to watch and able to watch. I hope you all have a really present moment. Hope your hamstrings are with you and reminding you of what's going on for the next few days. And please let me know in the comments or otherwise if you prefer longer classes, shorter classes. I'm definitely planning on making this ended up being a little bit longer than I anticipated. But I plan on making even shorter practices for people, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, things like that, so you can get your quick practices in when you can and where you can. If you've enjoyed this practice or other practices, please consider a donation if it's possible. I made it a little bit easier. You can just go to yogawithashton.com/donate to do a one-time donation, or feel free to join our Patreon community, patreon.com/yogawithashton. There you can already find over 50 audio classes available, full-length classes, 70 minutes, 60 minutes, there's some 90 minutes in there. There's a couple workshops on there that are available exclusively to the Patreon community. And there'll also be some content coming out just first for the Patreon community. Webinars and a few other things that I'll be putting up there that you guys will have access to first before I release any of that stuff out more publicly. I'm also going to start putting some more of my other work up there that I've been doing with some tantric texts and things like that. So please check that out if you're interested. And otherwise, keep an eye out. I've got some awesome family content coming soon as well for some family and kids yoga. So keep an eye out for that. For any parents in the space, whatever room you're in, anyone who's watching this video. Anyways, thanks again, everybody. It's been my pleasure. Anugrah Hitosmi.